Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back to Tenerife. Transfer window shut, no further deals done, so we can focus on the two big games today, Chelsea and Real Madrid away. See you in a moment. Yeah, just those two lesser known sides as Chelsea and Real Madrid to deal with. There's actually Barcelona directly after that and Sevilla, who still a decent side despite the fact they are recently re-promoted. But two games played in the interim: Granada away, 3-1. Getafe at home, 1-0. Surprisingly, annoyingly tight. One of those games where you just dominate and don't score. Thankfully, we did score, but it was looking like it was going to be one of those. Getafe, literally with one shot, full stop. Nearly came away with a point. But what that does mean is we're 4 wins from 4 in the league and sit top with Barcelona and Atletico for company with 4 wins out of 4. Real Madrid currently 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses. Not a best start from them, but they are still obviously a very capable side. Do notice that Nico has the best average rating so far. Really irritated that he's become something. Following the international break, Ricardo Orsolini started that Getafe game and got an assist, so he never lets me down. Seriously, I genuinely do not think there is a more reliable player in Football Manager than Ricardo Orsolini. Sign him. Sign him as soon as possible. Don't wait until he's 2026 and he's worth 58 million. Do it straight away. 2 player of the matches for him. Maxi Gomez up to 5 goals. That's a much better return rate, particularly this early on. Although I've annoyed him by not giving him a new contract. Yeah, he came to me saying that he's a much better player than he was when he signed. He's literally the same player he was when he signed. Obviously, none of his attributes have gone up between the ages of 29 and 30. Absolute delusional, but he's also on 100 grand a week already, and for a 30-year-old who is going to be usurped within the next couple of years, for sure, by someone, I'm not going to give him more money. No. Which is why my Augur started that game against Getafe, but we can pretend that's because this is the big game, and Gomez does like big games, so even though he's unhappy, I hope he does the business here. I did technically counter his suggestion by saying, prove you're worth it. Let's see if he does. Picard's injured. I didn't know that one. But the good news is Picard is actually the only problem now, and it's a new problem, in fact. All the players that were injured are now either back or returning to fitness. So it's Christensen, Ingolren and Lodi can start at left back. Howard, Antol fills in for Picard as the best right-footed backup we've got available. I forgot to make... Because I didn't realise Picard was injured, I let Lopez play the B-team game today, and that's backfired. Bermudez will play at right back. He's returned to fitness, but one of those ones without a time limit, so sod it. McDonald and Ravella, Faisal will go in front of them. He was a bit tired after the international break, along with Merckx, who was in the same boat. Dukadin, I think, was tired as well, but in a different degree. Maxim Gomez up front. Mayorga started in the league game, so a few changes from the last match. Chelsea do have Sancho, they have Reina, they have James Ward-Prowse, Florentino Luis. James Ward-Prowse is like a weird name amongst all those players. Like, he's a good player, but it's just an odd one. They have none of the same goalkeepers, worth noting Chelsea do. They've got Juan Musso in goal for now, and I think there might be a new gen on the bench. I might be wrong. I'd just like to say they have a player on the bench called Felix Rolf, and I hope he's a new gen, but if he isn't, I want to find that player and sign him immediately on the next save I do. Because Felix Rolf is a fantastic name. I've just seen their new gen defenders. I've forgotten to do the faces, although I don't think there's anyone new in the first team, apart from Dukadin, of course. But as Stamford Bridge is the first game of this group stage, we are focusing on the Champions League in particular this year because we really want to win it again, really boost that reputation, get us as far up that reputation list as possible. I've tweaked this. Now I know you can move these panels a little bit. I've tweaked it a little bit. But here we go. Cucho gets on the end of that. I think that was... I don't know who that player is, actually, because that's not obviously his... Actually, is that the player that's at Watford this year? Didn't know if he was already at Watford in the game, but yes, that is the Watford Cucho. I knew it rang a bell, because I could have sworn his name was Hernandez on the team sheet. So far, not a great deal done between either side. We'll just give him a little encourage and hope that... Yeah, there we go. There's the boost. There's another highlight for Chelsea as Florentino Luis heads wide. But possession fairly even. Chelsea definitely got the edge though now. We can maybe when we go a little bit less attacking, try and get the ball first. As the possession actually shifts into our favour a little bit, and actually we do start getting a little bit more of this game, judging by the number of shots at the very least. A little bit confusing because Chelsea are all in blue and we're playing half in blue. I don't really know why we're not playing in the black and pink. Apparently Bermuda has got in the way of that. That was like such a close block. It genuinely looked like I think now Sancho just straight up missed as Moses on the end of the corner, and there might be a chance here for us. I'm not fully certain. No, because the referee blew the whistle as we were breaking. This lad scored for Liverpool. He was the person I was eyeing. He just plays attacking midfielder, which we don't do. I knew he was going to get signed eventually by one of the big ones. Lithuanian wonder kid. But yeah, he scored for Liverpool against Barcelona, which is why it's got my attention now. Thought I mentioned it. Like I said, we've done no more business. No one came in and sniped any of our players. No one caused us any problems on deadline day, as I just give my team a bit of faith and send them back out again for the second half. So we got out of deadline day completely with our full 25 players that were already registered. No last minute panic. Although I do have to mention one thing in regards to transfers, and it's not related to us. Just another reason to dislike Man United in this save. They took Obregon from us. They were the ones that triggered Gallardo's release fee, and Faisal has scored. Never mind, we'll get back to Man United in a moment as we deal with Chelsea now. So who gets the actual assist here? McDonald plays it to Ravella. It's Ravella who puts it through for Faisal. Faisal just sort of bundles through the defender. I don't know which one that was, and it won't let me click on him. It's Ben Chilwell, actually. It's not even the centre-back. Actually, that Gallardo deal annoyed me even more because I actually recorded the transfer window episode before I edited the end of season episode before that. So knowing that I completely missed the fact his value was close to his release fee, whilst I was talking about those players that were close to their release fees, I could just see it mocking me at the bottom of the page. I'm so frustrated at that one. But we've got Orsleanian, who has not let me down yet, so blessing in disguise, perhaps. But yeah, so Man United were the ones who nicked him. Obviously, they took Obregon a year and a half ago. They signed Václav Hanus from Borussia Mönchengladbach, as Cucho goes close there. Yeah, they signed Hanus from Gladbach before he played 50 games for them, which means I've lost out on £9 million because that was the future fee. That was a future fee. I think maybe £6 million. I can't remember. 9 or 6, one of the two. It was a lot. Not only did they take Gallardo from me, they cost me £6 or £9 million. Werner's equalised. I've not made any subs. Both of the wingers are tired. Off you come. Orsini, don't let me down. Grealish. Oh, and Gomez has been playing awfully as well. I've just noticed that. Although I kind of feel like I need to deal with Bermudez, who is booked, and bring on Nedalé, who is also returning to fitness. Bermudez may not have, should have not been playing that much. Words were there. Bermudez may not have been good enough for the full 90 anyway. We don't know because they didn't give me minutes. But it's a relatively even game on paper. 1-1, just about the right result, judging by that XG map. So we'll take it. We didn't go full attacking, of course. We did take that back a notch. But yeah, I've also tweaked the end of game module as well. Now I know that's a thing that you can do. I've set it up like this. I feel like this gives us the full overview. 7 key passes from Ravella. Ravella is a machine. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that for some reason they don't put these players in the right order. I think obviously they go in the right order for the way they started, except for the other defensive midfielder. For some reason, defensive midfielder left goes at the bottom of the list, and I don't know why. Probably also why I didn't notice McDonald's was on 6.4 either. I'm going to say I'm not happy, but that's only to motivate them. I am actually quite happy. Turth beat young boys, unsurprisingly. Like, I'm not going to balk at the fact that he wants a new contract. He's been here at A, a year. B, last year was actually not that impressive for Maxi Gomez. And C, he's on 100 grand a week already. He's one of the highest earners as things stand. And obviously D, he's not actually a better player than he was when he signed, contrary to his beliefs. Utter twaddle. Bruno Alves is a bit interesting, of course, because he has been relegated to third choice. How is he actually doing in Tenerife B? 5-5. Yeah, not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping he wouldn't do that much in Tenerife B, just to make sure that my decision to put Mayorga second was the right one. Thanks to Bruno Alves for continuingly to give me a headache between those two players. Worth noting that Bruno Alves is the only one that's actually registered for the B team right now, so I can't really relegate Mayorga, who actually Mayorga might be available in an under-19 capacity. Speaking of being available in an under-19 capacity, I've registered 20 people for the Champions League because there's about a dozen that count as under 21, including Christensen, the goalkeeper. So I've actually got one homegrown club player registered because all the others don't need to be. It's surprisingly annoying, but that does mean there's a few B team players registered, including Carrasco, because I thought, why not? As Lionel Messi gets his national A license, yeah, he's an actual coach for the actual team. The thing about Messi is he was happy being an under-19s coach, but we couldn't afford his wages for that level. The only level on which his wage demands were fine for was regular coach level. So he's not good, but he's determined. Ronaldo didn't stay in the game, so I figured I'd better keep Messi around. Better actually sign Messi, just so he stays in the game. What? I've never seen this before. Secondly, he wasn't even going to be in the team anyway. He was going to be in the B game. Let me find a week's wages for going for the pub. Considering we played midweek, everyone's fine to play again. I'm a little bit baffled by this, but I'm just going to swap Bermudez for Nedelaire because Bermudez didn't have a good game and neither of them are at full fitness. So just keep that as fresh as possible. Otherwise, it's exactly the same lineup. Or actually, I might swap Valverde for McDonald just because McDonald didn't have a good game either. I just didn't realise that till the end of the game. Going to stick with Gomez up front. That is the Real Madrid team. They have Yamamoto in central defence. Japanese defensive wonder kid. Would have gone for him myself, except non-EU. What is that formation? Don't know if that's just a bugged image or what, but ours is fine. That to me looked like they were playing 5 at the back, 2 defensive midfielders, regular left and right winger, and then an attacking midfielder, not a striker. It was like they were playing, that is what they're playing. It's appeared on the actual formation page as exactly the same. In the bottom left, Isaac and Brandia are in line with Faisal. They have 9 players on or behind the halfway line on their formation and no actual striker. I can't imagine what Isaac's thinking about this because, I mean, he's barely a left winger. Well, no wonder they have 4 points. Merks, Nedelaire, Valverde, who of course we got from Real Madrid when they failed to get into any Europe of any kind. But I think they still actually had Europa League at that point. But yeah, they failed to get into the Champions League. Had a bit of a fire sale. Valverde was one of those, of course. So Faisal intercepts, and I'm trying to work out if their system plays into our hands or not. Lodi on the overload on the left-hand side. Overlap, sorry. It's not really an overload. They've got plenty of players back for it to not count as that. Ravella, back to Merks, and Merks puts it in. I'm not fully certain how. Of course, we do play attacking, so them being so defensively minded in the way they're set does sort of counterbalance that in a way, but because we get to have all our players in the box. There's four black shirts in there occupying those 5 defenders. They're literally sort of one in each of the 1 gaps. One of them was offside. We take the lead nonetheless. But what I'm thinking is, obviously, when they do venture forward with those players, we've got the men there to do the counter-attack on them. So if those fullbacks commit, if the wingers commit, if the 2 defensive midfielders, if one of them comes out a little bit, we've got the players there to deal with that, because that's really what this formation is. It's quite defensively minded ours in our own way. We've got 2 defensive midfielders there. Quite defensively minded, but as soon as we get the ball, the first objective is to get it back up to the other end of that pitch as quickly as possible. Faisal free kick, it's a goal. Omar Faisal. Very rarely do you actually see a highlight start with a free kick in that kind of position. So when you do, you know it's going to be close or a goal. In this case, goal from Omar Faisal. Oh my God, what a lovely curve round that. That was bend it like Beckham. Against his former team, of course. If they start venturing forward with their defensive formation and get out of their positions, our defensive counter-attack formation will punish that. But right now, we've scored from just a genuine normal attack and a free kick, so that's not really happened yet. Can't even notice on the visualizer that there weren't any attacks on the Real Madrid graph. Nedelaire, back post, Dukadin is there to just sky it from 5 yards. Free kick was given against Maxi Gomez. They've had 4 shots. So they actually have had shots, so it's not that bad. Emi Brandy on the right-hand side. I can't remember if this was York or if this was this year's Sheffield save, but somewhere along my Football Manager history, there was a Chelsea team that didn't play any of their players in the right position. I think it might have been the York save last year. And I've got an awful feeling that Real Madrid are doing exactly the same thing here. They're playing Eder Militao as a right wing-back, Brandia as a winger on the right-hand side. The defensive midfielders are fine. Isaac being played as an inverted winger in midfield role, not even attacking midfield role. Castagna is at the left. Okay, his left was not bad, but he is a right back. Don't know about Zubkov. I know he's a Ukrainian wonder kid. Yeah, he was on my radar as well, but he's 6'4". Technicals are there, I suppose, but they're not sensational for a central defender. He is probably more of a DM in that respect. You could easily trade him as a centre-back, but as things stand, he is more of a ball winner. He'd be better off where Bruno Guimaraes is, because he's more of a central midfielder with 14 tackling. I don't know about Yamamoto. I presume he's a centre-back as well. He's a decent centre-back as well. I knew he was listed as a centre-back, but he is not a centre-back. He's 5'7", 17 work rate, decent pace, decent acceleration, decent dribbling, decent passing, tackling, marking, crossing. He's 8. This is the only thing that sets him back. I think he actually is a right back. His primary position on his graph is centre back, but I think he's a right back. He's 5'7". fact, he wouldn't be actually be a bad DM either in that respect. Sort of a Kante DM with a great work rate, decent pace, and good tackling, and good balance, and aggression to match. He wouldn't be a bad sort of Kante-like ball winner. Anyway, back to the match. I'll do a little bit of a dive there into the Real Madrid team because it just seems to be all kinds of wrong. Faisal thinks it over to Militao. I mean, Militao is a right back, don't get me wrong, but like he can do right back. But I think he is primarily a centre back, right? I don't think he's super tall either, but he's not 5'7". Merckx gets in the way of Castagna to a degree. Emi Buendia is there. I mean, they've scored, though largely because we just decided not to defend for a moment, and Maxi Gomez is coming off. Booty sod. Nedalea sort of clears that. Merckx should have got the ball there, and Emi Buendia just run through a gap that, again, shouldn't have been there. Arguably, that's just as much on us as it was on them. For good play on their side. Merckx is tired. He has scored, but he's going to have to come off here. 15 minutes to go. Do I praise this late on 2-1? Maybe. I praised too early. A highlight started. Dubkov to Guimaraes. Dubkov again. Dinks it forward. No one's there. Picard gets on the end of that. Been transfer rumours for him. There's been transfer rumours for Merckx as well. Liverpool apparently lining up a £131 million bid for Merckx, which I think might be his release fee. I'm not certain. His release fee might be higher than that. If Merckx goes, it's sort of one of the positions where we're actually kind of well stocked. Isaac drills wide. So we've got a player out on loan. So if Merckx's release fee is triggered by someone, then we can just recall that player from Rennes who's actually having a good time there. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. They have switched to a formation that actually makes more sense now as they bring on Barrow and Dwight McNeil. Renan Lodi tired and Ducatin tired. I think Grealish for the last however many minutes this is, 5. Makes more sense. I think it makes more sense to freshen up front than and they've sort of switched back to their old one, but push the front end up. There is nobody in the middle. If I get the message we're being overrun in the midfield, I'm gonna punch something because they don't have a midfield. Picard seals it at the death. 93 minutes on the clock. Goal from a corner. 6'4", I think Picard is. We rescued him from the depths of what was actually then third tier of France as they got relegated. Brought him into the Tenerife team. And he has flourished as a centre-back, which is what he is. Wasn't when he arrived. Militao. There's another highlight here, but I think it might just be because it's 15 seconds from the end of the game. So we've scored and it's just sort of run into the end of game highlight. So we're seeing that one as well. Faisal, out to Orsolini, who's being booked. It's the first time he's let me down. He's on a 6.5. Although he's had a go there. And at 3-1 with seconds to go, don't blame him, to be honest. He'd bump his rating up to a 6.6 for some reason. I can't make substitutions. I've done 3. No, I haven't. No, I have done 3. Orsolini was one of them. My assistant manager confused me by telling me to substitute players that I don't have subs for. I don't have space. There's no more to do. But yeah, we did realistically dominate that game. And it's easy to see why when you saw their formation. Good win. Gives Real Madrid 4 points from 5 games. I dare say Mario Schiacqua is on limited time already. They're paying Eric Garcia £250,000 a week. Like, I know he can do wing-back. Actually, he is listed as a wing-back. He's 6'1". He's not short. He is a centre-back. He's a centre-back who can do right-back very well. He's actually probably the most well-rounded centre-back, right-back combo. So fair enough. I don't blame them for playing him on the right. They're eyeing this. Merckx's release clause is £176 million, so that's actually not his release fee. We might be fine in that regard. I kind of want to bring you a game against Hertha, but at the same time, I think what's likely going to happen is I'll see how these 2 games against Young Boys and Hertha at home go. There's a chance I might bring you that Hertha game. If it's the one that, seals our second place barest minimum, we'll do that. Because I don't really want to play Chelsea twice, even though that Chelsea game looks like it might be the deciding game for the group. The way things are set up. Because like I say, I don't really want to focus on the league. We've done it 3 times in a row. The Champions League is the focus. So once we're done with the group stages, I'm not going to bring you back until the knockout rounds. Good point away at Chelsea. Great win against Real Madrid. We'll take those. Until next time, thank you for joining me. Ciao.